That should be go. Mike. Yep. There we go. Okay. So back to the old Minecraft grind. Essentially. There we go. What are you munching on? Yeah, I know. I've got masking tape masked out so I know where I need to potentially put stuff on the wall. Alright, so I would say today we're just gonna do diamond hunting mainly. Well, we're only what, like, not even halfway. We might be exactly halfway for armor. I'm gonna say I've got string and some eyeballs that I need to drop off. Alright, I'm gonna take these tools that are almost dead and just toss them in the sin bin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I didn't read it, I just um it's the middle of the night. Let's just quick sleep and I'm beating a husk to death with dried kelp. Ow. Oh, you little son of a bitch. The changes that they made to how close you have to be is kind of, because now you basically have to be standing on top of it. It used to be you could like, you know, pretty much as far away as you could yeah. I wonder if that was like a mobile change or something like that that they just then implemented into everyone's game. You see though, Epic pulled the old "if you can't beat them, buy them." I wasn't surprised. I figured that. I mean, I hate to say it, but that studio felt so much like a sellout studio. Well, more of, I mean, it's the problem of the modern game, like especially service games, right? Like if you're not cutting deals with the latest and greatest for skins and stuff like that, then you're really not making any money. But It felt like Fall Guys was so quick to do. Like, yeah. Well, I would imagine, right? Like, if you ask, if you ask the vast majority of people, I don't know how many could name more than 5 studios. Well, I would say people that can name like, yeah, name. So so here's the thing, right? Like, Call of Duty players at least know that there's multiple teams that work on those games. Yeah, yeah. You know what I found though, which is I think really funny? The iRacing audience and the Call of Duty audience would get along great. Like, the entire time, it's guys bitching about what other people are doing, calling them like dumb and stupid. Like, it's no longer the oh, I fucked your mom. It's gone to like just kind of, it's the same thing over and over and over. Oh yeah, that, or you would be seeing like Durex would be doing way better than they are. Which, you want to talk about a company that probably made bank over the past year is Durex. Well, so everybody knows them as like the condoms, yeah, but they make a bunch of rubber gloves and they make a bunch of PPE stuff. So, well, like Magnum and Durex. Durex is super popular outside of the states, I would say. So it's not, it's. I guess that's a bad example for somebody that's almost exclusively in the states. But yeah, I mean that the Durex brand is like super well known. So it's not like it's not like somebody pulling like, I don't know, I don't even know a name brand, like a non-name brand. Um, Kind of manufacturer. Like, yeah, it's condoms are the things you only ever buy brand name and you have to buy yourself. Like, yeah, or no, you don't let somebody go out and buy you condoms. That's just not a thing. That's weird. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like in the Midwest, every state that I've ever been to, it's just like their thing, right? They're just you know they're usually in the, Got a dude with a harpoon that's taking a liking to my being, and I'm trying to beat his ass with a pickaxe, and this is not going. But the good news is it's an iron pickaxe, so it's got like +5 or 6 damage. Alright, so I'm gonna make, well, I've got some cooking right now. I'm making kelp blocks, dried kelp blocks, because they're supposedly pretty good for health. Um, yeah, you can eat them. See, that's something where you can say, yeah, just order me this. Be soon. I will say though, the nice thing about kelp is it's a one hit. Yeah, and it's like sugarcane or cactus where you can break like, you want to break pretty much at the bottom and then it just pops everything above it. I've got 30 right now. I've got 4 blocks with 52 drying. I'll have 56 dried kelp. And I need to turn. No, you just eat the block as far as I know. I ate the block. Let's see. We really need to find an underwater dungeon so we can get sponge. So we can start kind of clearing some stuff out. But yeah, I mean, like I don't know where it would be. Like obviously you have to look in the water, but is it in the there? It's not like a you know like a normal temple where it's super easy to see. Because obviously it's underwater, so really, actually, your best chance is to see it from afar because of the way the draw system works in this. Well, no, like like you can see into the water better than you actually see in the water. All right, well, it's somehow night again. Our days must be super short. Yeah, I'm got a llama as a passenger, and I'm in a boat. One of the one of the several traders that we have. Um, One of his llamas decided to hop in the boat that we have parked, and well, they don't ever get out. So Oh, I remember what our plan was. Um, water breathing potions. Forget what it was. No, I mean I was gonna use the sponge to just clear a ton of water out. I've got a dolphin chasing. Oh, I think I figured out how we're gonna do our watch along recording. No, I couldn't. To the people that know how to use voice meter, like props to you. I cannot figure it out. Um, no, I'm thinking what uh, ice temp. Oh, there's an ice temple. Cool. I've actually never seen one. My thinking was Bob's here. Um, record audio on our end, on each other's end. Get out of here, dude. Well, no, so like, um, um, so like, you'll record your audio, and then, um, not Discord audio, and then I'll just have Discord on my phone or laptop running, so then you can hear me, um, so we can talk, but then yeah, I'll just have our two audio tracks. That's, I think, just going to be the easiest way to do it. Because if I could, for whatever reason, I can't download the Realtek audio manager, which would be extremely helpful to have. But um, oh, and I just got hit by another one of those damn skeletons. Getting hit by a skeleton that's adding slowness. You want to talk about just straight up annoying? That's annoying. Error of slowness. Lucky to. Um, if I had the Realtek Audio Manager, then it would be easier to do because it would detect my speakers and my headset as different audio sources and play them back at the same time. For whatever reason, in one of the times that I updated Windows, um, it just got rid of that option. So I had one audio output. So if I had my headset plugged into the front, it was going through my headset. If my headset was unplugged, it was going through my speakers. It was going through the rear IO, which is super annoying because like having only one audio output, because like what I would do when I had the two, when it was detecting both of them separately, I would have my headset always plugged in, and then Discord and iRacing would output to my headset, and then everything else just went to speakers. I died to this guy because I get hit with these arrows of slowness and I can't reach him. Also, I think my armor's busted. My armor's not doing great. Um, but then what I would do is I would record, um, like I would have the my headset audio would be Discord, so then I could record that track separately in OBS, and then just mute the the movie output. Well, I've been trying to figure that out, the Realtek side of it, for ever since I lost that ability, which has been months now. And they appear to have created a Windows app to solve it. The problem is I can't download it. And if you look in their you can go to like the developer page or whatever to see all the apps that they've posted. They don't even list it. So I don't know if it's some weird like, well, no, I'm wondering if it's like they delisted it on the Microsoft Store. So it's technically still there, but it's not hosted on any server. I'll tell you what, you're being way more successful than I am. Is it Zombie? It's actually a really good song. The Cranberries version original. I like what Bad Wolf did to it. Like that was, it's a pretty good like, especially modernization of it. Um, but it's just such a, and I think his voice is better suited to the song than the singer for the Cranberries. But I don't know, like it's the Cranberries Zombie was a song that, like, I don't know if it was playing all the time in Chicagoland, but on the alternative rock station, like that was one of the, they don't really have top 40 in alternative, but if they did, but let's see. See, so I fully understand the desire to, I guess, eat healthier and um if sustainable farming and all that. But the people that like get pissed off that they're like, you know, well, it doesn't say that it has whatever in it, you know, this isn't a vegetarian option, or, you know, like those are mainly vegans, but it's very annoying. Like, I thought you were gonna say CrossFit, but yeah, kind of the same thing. Yeah, I mean those are just mar mar mar. Well, those people are just stupid because those aren't fighting games anymore. And you can fight me on that. Smash Brothers is not a fighting game. But yeah, yeah. I would argue Mario Kart is more of a party game than Smash Brothers. Yeah, it was funny that I was listening to um one of the bombcasts that I haven't listened to. It's from like January or something like that, and it seems like he's well, because like you know, it's kind of difficult for them, right? They don't have yeah, Ben's gone, like so it's they would have to be getting somebody from the East Coast. Well, I mean the problem is they've got four people, right? And while the podcast is fine with four people, it it's kind of nice that I guess for a large history of that podcast history, this isn't the case. But I think since it started, um, it's definitely helped. But they kind of rotated people in and out, so it was you had okay Ben and Brad or Brad and Jeff were your stalwarts, and then you kind of rotated in people. He's probably doing a ton of stuff with the Red Venture, and he's just swamped. I'd imagine because he runs their sale. He runs a lot of their sales stuff too. Well, he's support, right? If you email support at giantbomb.com, it goes to Rory, or it used to. I don't know how Adventures is handling that, but yeah. Well, and so that's what I'm wondering too. Is that an added, you know, an added thing that they had to switch over? Yeah. Well, and not only would that have been a thing, I feel like that will never happen. Because in a weird way, he is kind of the um like he's kind of a founding member. Like, okay, yeah, he is with Screen, but you know, if we take if we take if we take Screened and kind of the CBS buyout, right? And we call that like modern Giant Bomb. Um, yeah, because I think pre that, like those with the whiskey media, stuff. I think from the sounds of it, a lot of that was kind of just let it fly. Yeah. But so if you look at modern giant bomb as the entity that it is now, Rory really like Rory's a founder. He was one of the few that they got from kind of that Ziff Davis Whiskey Media team that immediately transferred over because I believe Alex left after that to to go do harmonics. So um but yeah, and then it was Jeff, Brad, Vinny. Um I guess Drew was always there, but I believe he left at some point and then came back. And then Ryan. So yeah, if Rory got let go, that'd be a front page of like GameFAQs and Reddit, and that's a huge story. Because I think like even though the guys now seem pretty, I guess sheltered isn't the right word, but also kind of is. Like, yeah, like they're set. They've got everything that they need, which makes me like it makes me question: do they really want to fill the spots that they have? Well, in Dan's, like they never filled Dan's. Well, why would you then fill Abby's and like okay, the East Coast? Well, and so the weird thing is, right? The East Coast doesn't have an office. No, because the office was owned by CBS. No, that was leased by. No, they leased that building from somebody. Like they had a long-term lease on that building, so it wasn't a CBS owned property. Whereas, yeah, they paid their rent. Whereas, CBS New York, that was one of they started in like CBS proper and then moved to CBSI. So, I mean, it's I honestly don't see like I don't ever see the East Coast doing another studio. I mean, it would have to be a major reason, like because if it's just Vinny and Alex, they don't need a studio. Like Red Ventures isn't gonna invest the tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars into a room for two guys. I mean, they might give the guys, 20 grand to do home studios. Yeah, that's a one time purchase. That's not. And then you get to write that part of your home or apartment off. Well, I mean, you look at Vinny, it's his basement. And Alex, it's a spare room. So, I don't think they run into an issue there. I think the issue that they run into is, and because, like, they have the ultimate hookup, right? They have Bacalar. If they need some major studio space, CNET has studio space. So, I, I mean, I guess, like, also comes down to the question, too, of, you know, we're, I hate the phrase, but there's a reason it's popular. We're living in a new normal, right? So, especially for, a branch that has two people, they're probably going to be in office maybe 2 days. I mean, they already, like, pre-COVID, yeah, pre-COVID, they were already doing Mondays from home anyway, so they were only ever in the office 4 days to begin with. Yeah. Well, I think on the East Coast, there was more going on because, from the sounds of it, like, they were very much like, because I mean, Vinny's senior production, so it was getting, yeah, because I'm sure he was getting pulled to, like, you know some mid-level manager was like, oh, you work in production, right? You can help us with this. So, well, I don't necessarily know because they were like 3.5 hours. Brad's day was definitely show up, bombcast, that's your day, because he used to edit the podcast. But now that they do it live, I imagine it's just, yeah. I mean, Jan gets in, sets up the studio, and I mean, like, I hate to say it, but the West Coast really only has one production guy too, because from the sounds of it, Jason's diabetes has taken away a lot of the feeling in his hands. So, you know, he can't be counted on to be, able to do that stuff. Also, did you realize he has a son that's like our age? Well, I mean, Jason's no older than Dan, and Dan just turned 40. Yeah. No, I think I I don't know if he really, like, yes, he was a partier, but, you know, unless he got, like, super super loose, which from the sounds of it he would sometimes do, but not all the time, especially when they're having parties at his house. I just don't see him being the type that would be. I guess I just don't see him as a promiscuous type. Like, same with Brad. Like, Brad's been in a long term relationship. What in the fuck is this? So I found. Okay, yeah. Remember when I told you there's like a nether portal that's half finished underground or underwater? I just found one above ground. Exact same structure. It's just above ground. And it's got this, the magma. It's got nether, rock. Pretty. It's got a shit ton of obsidian too. It's got 3 that was in just a chest sitting there. And then there's basically almost two full portals that are just chilling here. We ever need obsidian again? Problem is, I have no idea where I am. Yeah, I do. I am off it though. I mean, I can see the. Um, I guess I'm behind the. Um, Mesa, where our house is. Oh, no, no, no. Don't even think about it, Spider. You can go swimming. Thank you. Um, yeah, I genuinely have no idea where I am. I'm getting onto the mesa right now. So. Uh, hmm? I mean, that's one more than I have. Granted, I wasn't necessarily looking for diamonds. I know, I was more looking for other fortresses and stuff. Trying to kind of figure out like, okay, what are the surrounding, if we need to exploit anything, what are kind of our exploitable areas. Yeah, I'm running on top of the mesa right now and I see the spire, so that's the only thing that tells me exactly where the house is. I know, obviously, I have the map, so I know what direction he face. But yeah, and I don't think it would benefit from growing because it's just like if we had a 2x2, I don't think that would necessarily help because you can see it from whatever your render distance is, and so making it wider isn't necessarily gonna help. Could very much help, like, oh, uh, there's a giant thing in the sky and it's not just like a block sitting on top of the hill. But yeah. I get a shit ton of emails from them. Yeah, that's actually the email that forced me to unsubscribe. I'm like, who is this? I figured that out when I read the email, but Well, I didn't read the email. Like, is it what was going on? They were because it's from a studio. I thought. Oh, they just got rid of their office. Yeah. Did they have anything good? I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, it's funny though. Like, you listen to, especially Will Smith talk about the stories of like, you know, the the $1,500 chairs that they were running up and down like the streets of San Francisco because these startups would buy these fancy chairs and then go under. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. Because I mean, like that's the death of startups. I would imagine, right? Like they put, yeah. No, I don't have a problem with them spending money on like food, but it like, do you really need to have a caterer and have like all that? No, like okay, yeah, it's a cool thing to have, right? Like, but I imagine Google probably the worst from the sounds of it. Well, when you have endless money, well, didn't they just get? No, that's they spent. Yeah, yeah. Well, at that point, like, how do you even like the financial situation for some of those companies must be just like you want to do what? Okay, I guess. Remember what the like? There's like is it repair bench? There's like something that you can use. We'll try that. You okay there? I just see a pool of blood. Um, like if you're a financial advisor at a that works with startups, like how do you tell a 23-year-old kid that's suddenly a billionaire no? Right? Like, well, like that's the problem, right? Like there are definitely those that succeed in handling the just financial stresses of being a billionaire at, you know, 23 to 25. I mean, those that don't outnumber those that do probably 1,000 to 1. But I mean, even like even Facebook had issues with taking their financial situation to a better place. Like it's not easy when you know when everybody answers, "Oh yeah, you can do that." You know, how does one have to be? So I'm trying to like I want to figure out these um like tables and stuff because like so this is a smithing table and it tells you to upgrade your gear. I want to find the one that's the repair because like there's ones where you can use materials. Two of them. Well, like I only have one iron pickaxe. Um, how about no? Have fun with that. Because I don't necessarily want a big boom right now. I have the booms now. How many did you make? I will cut you like a spider monkey. No, like that having TNT is great, but let's use it in a productive way. Plant this tree to get it out of me. For whatever reason, I have a sapling. I mean, like, okay, so what do you think would be a harder financial advisor position? A tech startup kid or an athlete? Yeah. Like, there aren't a lot of smart athletes, I'd say. Eh, no, he's a guy that has got his shit in order. Oh, absolutely. What? That's a money. That's a money stance there, dude. Yeah, because he knows he's gonna make billions for the rest of his life because of China. It's a financial decision. It's not. I mean, it's I forget who published the story, but there's the story of the China problem. That's a problem every American corporation, association, anything is going to have. Because, like, really, I mean, you've already got the Western market by the balls, right? Like, you can't really, there's no room to expand in the Western market at this point. Like, if you've made it around the world. But China is you know, and I think India gets kind of dumped on because, like, if we're being brutally honest, you would rather have the Indian market than the Chinese market because the Indian market is kind of free, or it's at least freer than China, and they speak English, or at least they can read English. So, what am I trying to do? Tell me what you're trying to do, and I will have a genuine thought about it. Um, well, where okay, so there you are. If you're going to do that, put it right in there because the obsidian, hmm? Yeah, the obsidian will at least block those two directions from the explosion. It should just go down and knock like these three out, basically. I think you'll have to. I, it should activate. I don't know. You're gonna want to be behind the blast shelter. Wow, that was. Oh, hey, look, iron. That was way bigger than I remember them being. It's not that bad. The blast shield. We're no longer gonna fight the End Dragon. We're gonna become mad rocket scientists. We're gonna just we're gonna create basically the Minecraft version of an yeah. There's explosion and fire resistance. Well, we have three. May as well. I'm gonna go around the corner for this one. No, I would say leave it there. I have a feeling this is about to go. It's about to go boom boom. Oh, cool. We found some gold. The problem is when you use TNT, any resources just get blown up. So you'll get the stone. It'll pop the stone, but it won't give you any resources. I think we got lucky because the blast shield covered a couple. I think the furthest one was under one of the obsidian so it didn't fly up and. I really need carrying a torch. See that. So many resources sitting here. We use all our gunpowder for that. I mean, we are in shortage of sand, so. Let's see, probably 3 of those. That, take that, go this, go 3, 4. Black. Have. Oh, cool. 64 exactly. Was. No, because you used up all of our gunpowder. Can you look into this? It's like a smithing table or something like that. Um, yeah. Figure out what we need to do in terms of. Mm-hmm. Netherite? What? The smithing tables? Netherite items or. Diamonds and netherite? Because it says upgrade gear. Huh? The hammer's netherite. Oh, it doesn't tell me that. Dude, you know way too much about Minecraft. It's a resource in the nether. But it can be What is it? Okay, hold on. Projectile, projection, protection. Aqua, okay. Can you look up Aqua Affinity? Right, that's how you get, like the ultimate nether suits. That would be super useful to use, especially in the end, because I think the dragon like a bunch of explosions. Yeah, because I have a gold helmet with Aqua Affinity 1 on it. I'm wondering if it just lets me like breathe underwater. Oh, is it just like a? It doesn't seem much faster. Maybe it is. But I'm saying it doesn't feel much. Yeah. Not what? Not floating. I guess it's about what regulars. Oh, there's just Aqua Affinity 1 and that's it. Oh, we have a shit ton of sand, don't we? I think I know what we can do. No, because we need gunpowder. Remember how we built the spire out of stone? We can build off the spire and then use sand. Because basically, all we need is like wood or stone to build off of the spire. And then we can form out where we want whatever above the water. And then we just drop sand. Found a ton of iron. No diamond yet. Spent chilling. Out of breath before. Oh, it seems. Okay, that's what it is. The Aqua Affinity, it doesn't kick in until you're like on ground underwater. At least that's what it felt like. Stupid. Yeah, it's definitely faster. I drowned. Yeah, I drowned. Luckily, I know where all my stuff is. Yeah. It's. I guess it's nice, but it's one of those perks that I would much rather have aqua breathing, not because I mean, if you could breathe underwater, it's not an issue how long it takes to mine stuff. What do you mean? Creepers got nerfed hard in one of the updates, so it's not what it used to be. It's still dangerous to be around them, but it's not like, yeah, especially we're on easy or if we were on hardcore, they can and will insta kill you. Got a floating XP bauble that I can't pick up. Damn, dude, my body went places. Well, because I died like right next to an iceberg, and there was shit from my body underneath the ice, like 20 blocks away. So that's what I meant by that. Like it it went places. Holy cow! Eyes is serp. What the Sam fuck? Oh, it's one of you dipshits. I don't even know what are the perks. What are the perks anymore? That because like I know smite, looting, knockback. Like, are there new ones or is it all the old? Are all the perks the same? I guess. So the one thing about the dried kelp is, yeah, you can turn it into blocks, which is really nice. You do have to break it down to eat it, but it's 9, I believe, to a block, and then you can just store. You basically just need a slot open in your inventory. You can store a ton of the blocks in your inventory. You can store 64 blocks, and then when you needed food, you just break one down, and then all right, bedrock. Are you still in that line that you built by the house? The mesa? Pretty sure that's just Florida, dude. Oh, New York's just having their turn to have a crackpot in power. I mean, it's a valid defense though. Like, yeah. Well, and I guess it's one of the things too, right? Like, we've been seeing it. Well, we just saw it recently with the whole Dr. Seuss thing. Like, yeah, like Cuomo's a piece of shit. Whatever. He's also an old dude, so old dudes are just pieces of shit anyway. Um, but is this just is this going to be the logical conclusion to cancel culture? Like, you know, is basically everything, well, more than 20 years old, I would say. Is anything more than 20 years old just going to be canceled eventually? Like, Are you in the desert or are you? Well, no. Like, is the cave in the desert or? I guess I'll just kind of chill around. Were you anywhere near the small tower that I built? Side, like the other side of the biome, like uh, by the water. Um, but yeah, like looking back on it, like yes, you know, I looked at some of the examples that I think it was the New York Post, so it was a shitty article, but they at least had examples of like this is an example of why we run a zoo or whatever. It should be whatever, and yeah, but also if that's the case, look at everything from that era that depicted Asians, blacks, like they're all depicted the same. So Water's Edge. A lot of cacti. Were you by the forest? Okay. Yeah, because I can see the forest. Oh, that's a ravine. There's just a ravine here. Holy shit. Also, there's a creeper that was behind me. Huh? It doesn't appear to be any water feature here. I'm at the ravine. There is a drop down into a cave. No, it's just there's a natural cave. Also, I'm at the oh here's a waterfall. I'm at the fun point in this where my screen is so dark now that I can't see what's on my screen. I changed my picture mode or whatever on my main monitor to match the one that I record on, so I can kind of uh, get an idea of what the stream is seeing. And yeah, because like so it's a Scepter monitor. It's a Korean brand. Um, and it has like a FPS mode or whatever, and I guess I was on that. Actually, a really nice monitor. It's 1440 curved, 144 to 165 hertz. It's got FreeSync. Yeah, it's not a crazy aspect ratio. It's still 16 by 9. It's just not one of these 21 by 9. Ah, diamonds! Yay! Um, no, I will always run. I've done it. It's not. Yeah, that's actually how I did it. When I had three, I had the two from my computer, and then I had my PS4 plugged into a TV. That was very nice of Gravel to fill in some. So 59 of what yeah, I mean three's okay. Two's ideal, I would say, because yeah. Well, it also depends on like okay, 1 to 2 is such a productivity jump. Yeah, like 1 to 2 is such a productivity jump that it makes sense. Like, uh, well, and using it. Hmm? Yeah, the major problem that I run into is obviously no two monitors are the same, but then hmm? And yeah, unless well, no, like even if I had like two um if I had two Samsung monitors that were the exact same model number, there's a good chance that the RGB values are different because it's just how panels work. Like you're never gonna solve that problem. So it's not a huge deal. You kind of just get used to it, but it's one of those things where it's super nice to have because yeah, you can have like a proof monitor or whatever. You just have to kind of know like okay, the difference between my proof monitor and my editing monitor is this. You can be like okay, it looks washed out on my proof monitor, but that's because that monitor just kind of runs a little desaturated. It's not it's not the end of the world to have um, stuff like that, but it definitely helps to. And there's tools to like fix that and all that, but I'm like, I don't want to spend. First off, I don't have the money to. It's like 20 grand to get some of these things that are like, oh, it makes sure your monitors stay in sync with their color with their RGB values. Okay, it's not a huge deal because my monitors don't run out of sync. Well, to me, even when if I, if I'm editing video, my curved monitor is the monitor that I edit on my primary since I got it, and so I've got Vegas or I've got Premiere open, and my second one's usually a web browser, so it's either Discord and Chrome talking to you know the person editing for my client, or it's YouTube to keep me entertained, or and it's there are like people will have the benefits of um, three monitors. You know, there will be people that swear by, oh, you need it because X, Y, or Z. To me, I've made do with two for ever since I really was on a computer, like my own and not. Or if you were super fancy, your school had um, a projector that was plugged into one of the computers. So if you somehow got that computer during computer class, you could screw around with the projector. But I don't know. I feel like it feels weird to say, but like you and I are probably the last generation, because so you and I are both in our mid 20s. Um, we're probably the last kids to go through school where, for I wouldn't say the majority, but for a large portion of our schooling, they still used the plastic and overhead projectors, because everybody's going to either digital projectors, or they're going to laptops or whatever. They're not um, going to the nobody's using the overhead projectors, which I don't blame them, but it's kind of disheartening. It's like that was, you know that's how you got out of class early, basically, because the teacher was, they had to clean off their overheads to use them for the next class. I have one on me. Which, if we get lucky, that's all we need. But let's be real. The luck of you and I is such that we'll probably need like 30 or 40 of them, and then we'll get that many, and they'll all break first time, and then one of us will lose one because we died. And so we'll be like one or two short for the portal. But the nice part is, if that happens, at that point, our goal is super simple. Just, you know, hang around until night to get Enderman to spawn. It's funny though, because like once you get to the end, like a lot of the busy work of Minecraft suddenly frees up. Like you no longer you no longer need to hunt Enderman, right? You just go into the end portal, kill them, and then yeah. I guess your problem would be you need to you would need to continue to make ender pearls, because I want to say you um, don't get, like, you have to kill the dragon obviously to get back, but like I think if you hop out of the nether or the end and then want to go back in, you need to kill the dragon again. So it would just be like, it would basically just be stuck in a loop of kind of doing the same thing over and over again. No, we're just calling it working at 9 to 5. So, what's your opinion on the whole Texas deciding that Abbott deciding that, you know what, let the big dick swing? No, I mean it makes sense, right? Like it's not a yeah. But let's be real, that's the message that is going to be taken from it from both sides. Like, oh, and the problem is you end lockdowns and then the hospitals get overrun again. Yeah. I mean, like I can understand Whitmer's position of wanting to keep Michigan closed down. Yeah, well, it wasn't necessarily that for me. It was the problem I'm trying to right now. Might be a little scatterbrained. Like her approach just wasn't vocal. Like, if you come out and tell us, like, okay, we're doing this, and it's gonna last this long, like that's fine. I don't. Yeah. Well, like she kept doing 2 weeks, I think 2 weeks or whatever, which I guess I don't necessarily have a problem with, but go into it with like saying, look, this isn't going to be the only. Right? Like I'm sure, right? I'm sure hindsight for her is obviously 2020, so she. Well, no, I'm sure if she knew heading into it like this is going to be a year of this, she probably would have approached it way. Because I mean, like it wasn't just a U.S. problem where everybody was overrun with how long this was happening and shit. Most of Europe's still in some form of controlled lockdown, and every time the UK opens up, it's like, oh, we're open. A week and a half later, back in the lockdown. Yeah. But I mean, also, if the UK is to be a test case for the successfulness of your programs and things like that, which I don't think it necessarily should be, but I mean, I genuinely don't mind it. Like, there's a lot of very interesting things that come out of the UK from, especially the film point. But because they're one of the countries that, and the BBC is provocateur here, like that still cares about production. Um, but I mean, like, so the UK is 60 million people, so that's basically the Northeast. In an area the size of basically from the Mississippi west, or not Mississippi, east. My bad. Actually, it's smaller than that, but most of Europe is that size. And if they keep having issues, like it's hard to make a defense of you know the U.S. will be fine because I mean they like if we go off the Northeast, right? Like it's not much different than the UK, right? Mm, it is, but I don't think it will be for long. I think SoCal will get to the point that I mean you could say DC to Boston, like oh, I would not consider parts of Virginia to be the Northeast. No, like I don't even consider Maryland to be the Northeast. It's in Dixie. It's the Dixon. It's in Dixon line, not Dixie line. But yeah, no. Also, my my definition of the Northeast there is based off of the Amtrak Northeast Corridor Rail, which is DC to Boston. So, but did you combine like something in Vermont? It sounded like you said Marimont. Yeah, I think Maine's kind of their own thing, but yeah. Well, because I mean, northern Florida and central and southern Florida are so different. It's no, and well, and even if you just look at geography, like the the physical geography of northern Florida compared to central, it's beautiful. Um, well, it doesn't help that states like narrower than Venus is. Yeah, because I think the state's only like 80 miles wide or something like that. It's speaking of Alabama though. So we have the F1 show, obviously, which I'm thinking for this year I'm gonna turn into more of just like racing in general. Like we'll still focus on F1, but we're definitely gonna include a lot of. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on this year in IndyCar, and I think this year in NASCAR could be pretty interesting. It's the last hurrah of the current car, so there's a lot of racing disciplines that we'll end up covering on the F1 show. on Formula S. But no, speaking of Alabama, if we end up going to a NASCAR race, we're definitely going to Talladega. Daytona? I mean, Daytona is cool. Like, if we're gonna go to Daytona, we're gonna go for the 500 because the summer race is just unbearably hot and sticky. Yeah. Um, but no, we'll go to Talladega for a NASCAR race. The longest track that they run at. No, that's IndyCar. Yeah, and it's at the airport. It runs on the city streets, but I think it's mainly on the. Mm-hmm. Which I mean, it's not uncommon for open wheel series to run in cities. Um, I think a lot of modern fans don't like the city races because they're not interesting. It's a lot of single file, which I think Indy. Oh, those are where you find like the Elytra and stuff. Um, like IndyCar does a fairly decent job because I think the city tracks that they run at are good. Long Beach is an amazing track. It's been around forever. St. Pete uses the airport, so there are opportunities for you to run a couple wide. But it's otherwise it's pretty boring racing. But yeah, if you fans of us, if you would like to see us at any racing event in the, I'd say North America to start, because I don't necessarily know what travel restrictions would. Know what to do. They'd be like, "Hey, can we get the Japanese over here? They know how to deal with Godzilla." Be like, they'd be like, "I thought the Vikings were gone. They were defeated." No, I don't turn into a clone. I turn into Thor from Ragnarok. Or yeah, I guess it was Endgame. He lets himself go. I couldn't remember which one. Yeah, which that whole sequence of him getting the axe was so like they did not need that. Of him like the what was it like 40 minutes of him dealing with uh what's his face Dinklage in the house. Huh. I don't know. Well, remember we had that creeper that spawned in the house that I don't know how it got in there, um, but yeah, if you guys want to see us at a racing event, say let's keep it bigger series. So like NASCAR, IndyCar. I mean, I love short track racing. I think short track racing is one of the things that makes kind of American motorsports so unique. Because I mean, literally, you can have a racetrack anywhere, and you could have guys that are just studs driving at it, and that's the only track they'll ever race at, and a bunch of good old boys, and they do everything themselves and all that, and it's really cool. But I mean, there's too many of those. Uh, I mean, from where I'm at, if I go an hour, I can hit like 5 or 6 short tracks. If I take that to 2 hours, I can get to at least one NASCAR. Probably the best NASCAR track on the circuit, but MIS is just a damn awesome track. I understand why they don't run any cars there anymore. Let's see it. Because it's actually faster than Indianapolis. So, we would be seeing cars doing probably 240, the high 240s, close to 250 miles an hour, which is super dangerous. I wouldn't blame any driver for not wanting to do that, because that's past taking calculated risks. That's just basically strapping yourself into a rocket ship and praying that nobody else. But yeah, let us know what tracks you would like us to visit, and what teams we should try and get in contact with. I don't think it'll happen this year, just because I don't know how the schedule's going to work for F1 in terms of fans, but I would, starting hopefully next season, be able to visit either Austin, Montreal, or Mexico City, or something, one of the North American races, and do it with a team. Like, if you want to see us with Haas, or if you want to see us with Williams or McLaren or Renault, let us know. Like, let us know who you want us to try and contact, because I think it would be really cool to have that community interaction on deciding where we talk to. But yeah, but Mike will be the one sending out emails, because apparently he's the only one that gets responses. Well, no, like, I email people, I just never get responses. Like, I um I emailed a small-ish YouTube channel. I think he's got like 600,000 subscribers. I emailed the guy and I was like, hey, I really enjoy your work. I would love to get you on the show for an interview, talking about, like, you know making your channel and kind of process and the creative struggle, because to me that's actually the interesting part of what people do is the fire protection, feather falling. Okay, I need this book. And I emailed him like months ago, and I still haven't gotten a response. Like, hey, like, what's our average? That's what I thought. That's the problem with podcasts, right? Like, how do you define your numbers when you're not big? Like, mm, yeah. It's funny though, because like my one of my cousins asked me like, um, I guess because my brother mentioned that I do a podcast. Oh, because it's pretty popular, and I'm like, honestly, I have no idea. Yeah, like we get listeners, but it's not. I hate to say it, listeners, it's not enough for us to do it any more than we currently do it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it means we're doing something right, whether it be interview styles or the people we get on or mm-hmm. Also, you want to talk about a game that I had no idea about, but is apparently a huge success. Airborne Kingdom. Like if I'm brutally honest, some of these developers, I go, this isn't gonna happen, or yeah. Well, and I forgot what game it was that we got an interview with the dev, and then like that week or whatever, the game comes up on the bombcast, and like that's the ultimate, like, to me, like holy shit, the people that I listen to and I enjoy listening to are talking about people that we've talked to. And to me that's such a, like, you talk about, you know, compliments. Like, to me that's the ultimate compliment. Like, that, you've at least kind of made it at that point. Like, it's not saying that we can do this full time, or you know shit. Yeah. I mean, and like we're getting people that have connections to bigger studios. Like we had a guy early on, really early on now at this point, that was former uh, Dice. Yeah. Well, yeah, more of somebody that had a major connection to a big studio, and um, we've had people that are, take your pick. It seems like we've had a lot of major studios covered, and that's only gonna help us more and more as we work our way towards higher up and making this a legitimate thing. Like it's not to say that this isn't a legitimate thing. I mean, the SWW show's pretty damn legitimate to me. Um, but the ability to make a Patreon, to which that's something Mike and I have. Like, I'm not afraid to talk about. Like, that's something that you and I have discussed in the past. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to swim my way out of the ravine. I see sky. Um, Good sign, but I think I'm underground. I believe so. All right. Save and quit, and I am stuck in a ravine. Bye.